Welcome to Keith and Lynn's 2025 video Christmas letter. Grant traveled to Northeast Oregon to join us for a ski weekend. The weather was sunny and the snow was fast. We owe Grant a trip to Mount Baker next year. We had a stretch of cold weather and Lynn was able to get several days of ice skating in. She skated Morgan Lake and Peach Pond. Lynn ordered a new pair of skates that mount to her Nordic ski boots. Unfortunately, the ice had ended by the time they arrived, but hopefully there'll be some more skating this year. Lynn also wants to travel to Ontario, Canada for some long-distance skating trails. I go for a hike at the Mount Emily Recreation Area almost daily. Sometimes, early in the morning, I see elk on my way to the trailhead, and sometimes I have my drone with me. Snowshoeing the Mirror Trails is a lot of fun, especially when others have helped pack the snow. I always stop at the top of Sasquatch to say hello to Amy. Pretty day today, cold. It's like 6 degrees this morning. It's supposed to be colder tonight. And then a little more snow on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, love you, miss you. I added a pair of Nordic skis to my quiver this year. It's been fun to strap on the Nord boards for an early lap around the trails at Anthony Lakes. By April, Anthony Lakes is closed and it's time to go birding. This year, Meredith came in early April to help with Mom, and so we took off on an extended birdwatch tour. We started at Ruby Lake National Wildlife Refuge and then explored Sheldon National Wildlife Refuge, up to Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, over to Silver Lake Wildlife Refuge, through Klamath Marsh National Wildlife Refuge, down to the Lower Klamath National Wildlife Refuge, and then back to Sheldon National Wildlife Refuge. It was our first time visiting Sheldon and we found it to be wonderful. The campground has a warm springs along with a shower house. The shower house has 2 shower heads without a valve, so they run continuously. We photographed a lot of birds and enjoyed all the refuges. In May, I went on a solo trip down to Malheur. The birding was better than in April, and I got a great shot of an American bittern. In May, Lynn was invited to join a team for the Ski to Sea race in Bellingham, Washington. Amy raced in this race several times, and Lynn wanted to participate in Amy's honor. Lynn competed in the first leg, the Nordic portion. Lynn really worked hard to get into race shape. She made several trips up to the Anthony Lakes to ski up the downhill trails and other trips to local Nordic areas for laps. Lynn held her own and the team came in second place. In June, Lynn bought a new boat. It's a Hobie Islander, 2 seats, a pedal drive, and a sail. For Father's Day, we towed it up to Flathead Lake, took it out for an initial voyage, and spent time with Lynn's dad, Pete, for Father's Day. Also in June, my sister Kathy retired and moved to La Grande. I took her up to the Buckhorn Overlook on one of our first get-to-know-the-area drives. Baxter does not like fireworks, so we headed over to the North Fork of the John Day River for the weekend. The weather was perfect and no noise. Later in July, we along with Kathy traveled to Steens Mountain. The access road to the summit does not open until July. We camped at the South Steens campground and drove up to the top just in time for a serious downpour. It didn't last long. It had been a wet winter and the wildflowers were amazing. That night at camp, a thunderstorm hit just after sunset. Kathy had to leave a day early, so Lynn and I drove the access road one more time before heading to Fields for a milkshake and then to the Alvord Desert. We camped that night at Man Lake. The birding was better than I expected at Man Lake. August brought a garden full of dahlias and a few visitors from Ketchikan. Bob and Ann Widnes stopped by for a night, and Randy and Judy Henderson stopped in for a visit later in the fall. Grant and Josephine drove over to Flathead Lake for a weekend in August, and so I did too. Lynn was there for the entire month. Grant and Josephine put Lynn's boat to good use. In late September, Kathy joined us for another trip to Southeast Oregon. We had all become fascinated with Oregon sunstones, and there's a BLM campground at a spot where they are very abundant. We spent 2 nights there collecting. We then drove up to the Heart Mountain National Wildlife Refuge and soaked in the hot springs, but there were signs posted warning about aerial spraying, so we decided to go to Malheur instead. We camped at Page Springs. Kathy had to leave the next morning, but Lynn and I drove the Steens Mountain Access Road, and the aspen colors were phenomenal. We then drove to Fields for milkshakes before heading to Willow Creek Hot Springs. We found an isolated camp spot there, and the sunset was spectacular. We headed home after a quick soak in the hot springs. In October, my sister Meredith and her husband Marcus traveled from Switzerland to be here for Mom's birthday. We drove up to the Hells Canyon overlook on the worst possible day. It was completely socked in. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Marcus and I enjoyed 3 days of mountain bike riding at Mira. Marcus is a very good biker. And we all took Mom out for Mexican food on her birthday. The fall colors have been spectacular, and I got to photograph the Comet Lemon for a couple of nights. In early November, Lynn's dad Pete turned 90 years old, so we drove our new Sprinter van over to enjoy his celebration.
It's been part of our life. You all have been part of our life here, for Susan and I, and I wasn't going to cry, but anyway.
You always cry.
With your love, you know, I was going to look up at the word love means, but you know, it's right in our heart, you know, always, regardless whether we mention it to each other or not. It's always so for all of us, you know. You're a very special people for me and Sue. So I sure thank you for coming out tonight and being here with us. You know. We'll do this again.
In late October, we bought a new Mercedes Sprinter van. It's a Winnebago Revell build, and it ticks off all the boxes of everything we wanted. Give us a tour of the van.
Here it is.
You got all the lights on?
Yep.
That light's not on.
That's the bathroom.
There you go.
Ooh, wee, that's bright. Way bright. Vacuum.
How's it going, Baxter?
Is it too early to go to bed?
I'm hungry. Let's make him Baxter first. Keep going, keep going.
I don't know if there's what's in the way.
I moved everything.
You're
Uh-oh.
okay.
No, I didn't move everything. It's
Something.
lopsided.
The pillow. There's a pillow.
That's level.
Yeah, it's a perfect little doghouse for Baxter.
In late November, our brother-in-law, Doyle Wells, passed away. He was much loved and will be sorely missed. Thank you for everybody coming together on a kind of difficult weekend. But it's been a while since I've seen you guys, and you're back from Jamaica, so thank you.
Knows how to make you feel so special.
I should have written something down. All right,
Good job.
Let's
Lovely.
part. Oh, first I want to get a candid photo. So, can you everybody just like grab? Let's fight over a turkey leg.